During a work Zoom on her laptop, my girlfriend forgot to mute her mic. I heard her whisper, "God, I hope he doesn't propose. How do you politely reject a man who pays your rent?" Her coworker said, "Just marry him, then divorce later." They laughed. I just closed my screen. This morning, she woke up to a disconnected card and 47 missed calls. Using a throwaway for obvious reasons, some details changed to protect privacy. I never thought I'd be one of those guys, the ones who get used for financial stability while their partners secretly despise them. Yet here I am, still processing how 3 years of what I thought was a loving relationship collapsed in under 3 minutes. Some background. I, 34M, met Amelia, 31F, at a community garden project where I was volunteering as part of my company's outreach program. She was leading a workshop on urban sustainability, articulate and passionate about her work in marketing for environmental nonprofits. We connected over shared values and similar tastes in music, and within 6 months, we were living together in my apartment. From the beginning, we had an arrangement that made sense to both of us. I earned significantly more as a software developer than she did in the nonprofit sector. She was passionate about her work, but struggling with student loans and the financial limitations of choosing a career based on purpose rather than profit. We agreed that I'd cover the housing costs and most of our living expenses, while she would contribute by handling groceries, her car payment, and building an emergency fund for us both. It seemed fair. She got to pursue work she found meaningful, and I got to support someone I loved without feeling taken advantage of. For nearly 3 years, this setup worked beautifully. Or so I thought. We traveled together, hosted dinner parties for friends, and even started talking about long-term plans. I'd been saving for a ring, thinking about proposing on our upcoming trip to Barcelona. The truth revealed itself in the most mundane way possible. Last Wednesday, I was working from home in our second bedroom that serves as my office. Amelia was in the living room on a Zoom call with her marketing team. I had my noise-canceling headphones on, deep into coding, when I realized I needed to ask her something about dinner plans with my parents that weekend. I took off my headphones and was about to call out to her when I heard her voice, unusually hushed despite being alone in the room. Her team must have been taking a break or waiting for someone to join, because she was having what sounded like a side conversation with her coworker Jenna. "So he mentioned Barcelona might be extra special this time. God, I hope he doesn't propose. How do you politely reject a man who pays your rent?" Amelia's voice was casual, almost amused. I froze in the hallway, just out of sight of the living room. Jenna laughed. "That's awkward. Just marry him then divorce later? You'd get half his stuff." They both laughed, and Amelia continued. "I know, right? But seriously, I'm not ready to lock myself down yet, especially not to Charles. He's sweet, but so boring, like the human equivalent of beige walls." "But those beige walls come with financial security," Jenna pointed out. "Exactly. That's the only reason I've stayed this long. My savings account has never looked better, and I've almost paid off my student loans. Another year max, and I'll have enough cushion to move on. I just need to buy time without a ring on my finger." "Does he have any idea?" "None. He's completely clueless. Last week he was talking about maybe starting a family in the next few years, and I just nodded and smiled while mentally calculating how much more I need to save before I can get my own place. The trick is to give just enough affection to keep him happy without promising anything concrete." Someone must have rejoined their main meeting then, because Amelia's voice shifted back to her professional tone. "Oh, looks like Marcus is back. Anyway, I'll send over those campaign drafts by end of day." I silently stepped back into my office and closed the door. I felt physically ill, like someone had punched me in the stomach. 3 years of memories were suddenly recontextualizing themselves in my mind. The times she'd changed the subject when I brought up our future, the way she'd become more affectionate after I paid for something substantial, how she'd never quite integrated me into her friend group, keeping those relationships separate. I sat at my desk staring at my screen, unable to focus on code or anything else. I didn't confront her. Didn't storm out, didn't make a scene. I just sat there thinking about every dollar I'd spent supporting someone who saw me as nothing more than a financial plan. When her meeting ended, I pretended nothing had happened. We ate dinner together, watched a show, and went to bed like any other night. But I didn't sleep. Instead, I made a plan. The next morning, I woke up early and called my parents to cancel dinner, making an excuse about work. Then I contacted my bank and credit card companies. I had added Emilia as an authorized user on 2 of my credit cards for emergencies and household expenses. I requested immediate removal of her authorized user status and expedited replacement cards with new numbers for myself. Next, I logged into our utility accounts and changed the payment methods from my credit card to direct debit from my checking account, which she had no access to. I also contacted my landlord and explained I needed to discuss the lease. Finally, I texted my best friend Marco and asked if I could stay at his place for a few days. No details, just that I needed space. He immediately said yes. The hardest part was maintaining normalcy for the next 2 days. We went through our routines, and I swallowed my feelings, knowing I needed time to get everything in order. She never suspected anything was wrong, which only confirmed how little she actually paid attention to my emotional state. On Friday, she mentioned she was going out with friends after work and would be home late. Perfect timing. While she was out, I packed essential items, clothes, important documents, my work equipment, and a few sentimental possessions. I left her access to the apartment. It would be illegal to lock her out, but took the emergency credit card she kept in her desk drawer. I left a simple note on the kitchen counter. Emilia, I heard your conversation with Jenna on Wednesday about your plans to leave once you've saved enough money. I've removed you as an authorized user from my accounts and taken back the emergency card. I'll continue covering the rent through the end of next month to give you time to make arrangements. But all other financial support ends today. I deserve better than to be someone's financial plan while they wait for something better to come along. Charles. Then I drove to Marco's place and turned off my phone. When I turned it back on Sunday morning, I had 47 missed calls from Emilia, 16 voicemails, and 39 text messages, ranging from confused to angry to pleading. Apparently, she had tried to use the credit card for a bar tab Friday night and found it declined. Coming home to an empty closet and my note had sent her into a panic. From her messages, I could track the evolution of her response. First, confusion. What conversation with Jenna? I don't understand what's happening. Then anger. You're overreacting to something you misheard. This is insane. Followed by damage control. Baby, please call me. There's been a huge misunderstanding. And finally, when none of that worked, the truth with a spin. Okay, fine. You heard something, but it wasn't what you think. I was just venting about proposal pressure. Everyone says things they don't mean sometimes. Her last few messages revealed her true concern. Not that she'd lost me, but that she'd lost her financial safety net. I can't afford this place alone, and you know that. What am I supposed to do? I have $1,726 in my account total. My student loan payment is due next week. You can't just cut me off like this. At least talk to me about a transition plan. This isn't fair. Fair. That word stuck with me. What wasn't fair was pretending to love someone while secretly using them. Marco has been incredible through all this. When I finally told him what happened, he wasn't even surprised. Apparently, he and my other friends had noticed how transactional Emilia's affection seemed, but hadn't known how to bring it up. She was always more interested in what you could provide than who you are, he said. The most revealing part came yesterday when I finally answered a call. Not from Emilia, but from her coworker Jenna. She was horrified about what had happened. I need you to know I never thought she was serious, Jenna said. I thought it was just dark humor between friends. Then she told everyone at work you abandoned her without warning, and I couldn't stay silent. This isn't the first time she's done this. According to Jenna, Emilia had lived with 2 other boyfriends under similar arrangements before me. Each relationship followed the same pattern. Find a financially stable partner, create an arrangement where they covered major expenses, save aggressively, then move on when she had enough cushion. One of those exes apparently worked at the same company briefly, which is how Jenna knew the details. She has a spreadsheet, Jenna told me, with projections of how much she needs to save before she can graduate from the relationship. Your name is literally in a cell next to a dollar amount. That conversation finally helped me feel validated rather than naive. This wasn't about me being boring or beige. It was about Amelia having a calculated approach to relationships that had nothing to do with genuine connection. It's been 10 days now. I've moved back into the apartment after Amelia found a friend's place to crash at. I've given her until the end of next month to remove her things, as promised. She's tried multiple approaches to get me to reconsider. Apologizing, gaslighting, guilt-tripping, even showing up with lingerie under her coat one night. I didn't let her in. The financial aftermath has been eye-opening. Looking at my accounts, I calculated that I've spent approximately $64,000 supporting Amelia over 3 years. Rent, utilities, vacations, meals out, gifts, all while she was squirreling away her income and planning her exit. Her claims of only having $1,726 turned out to be another manipulation. After one particularly angry call where I refused to reinstate her as an authorized user, she inadvertently revealed she has a separate savings account I never knew about with over $27,000 in it. Some friends have suggested I should feel stupid for being used this way, but I don't. I entered the relationship with genuine intentions and lived according to my values. The fact that someone took advantage of that doesn't make me naive. It makes her calculating. I've already donated the engagement ring to a charity auction. Somehow, watching something that represented my manipulated future being transformed into funds for a good cause healing. As for the 47 missed calls that started this saga, they've now grown to over 100, but they're increasingly from unfamiliar numbers as Amelia apparently borrows friends' phones when she realizes I've blocked her. I've stopped answering unknown calls altogether. The strangest part of all this is how much lighter I feel despite the heartbreak. There's a peculiar relief in having your worst suspicions confirmed. No more second-guessing or wondering if you're imagining problems. I don't regret supporting someone I loved. I do regret that it wasn't real on her end. But at least I found out before a proposal, before marriage, before kids, before I became legally entangled with someone who saw me as nothing more than a financial stepping stone. If there's a lesson here, maybe it's about paying attention to the small inconsistencies in how someone treats you versus how they talk about the future. Or perhaps it's simpler. If you're going to discuss your secret plans to use and discard someone, make absolutely sure you're on mute.